Hello everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making a slimline card for Dad. And so let's talk about what we're using. This first product is the Backyard Barbecue dies. There's a lot of dies in there, and then your front cover shows you exactly how to put that together, but this is a really sweet die set. We're also going to be using the Perfect Pastels Vellum. I used them last week to make a shaker, and so I wanted to use it again. We're also going to be bringing in some Glossy black cardstock by Trinity Stamps. We have our Simply Sentimental Mom and Dad, which go together perfectly. And then we're also going to be using this one. This is the Rainbow die set. And then a couple of oldie but goodies. We've got our Slimline Scenic borders. And then we also have our Slimline Scalloped set. So we're, like I said, going to be making a slimline. So to start off, I have grabbed out some of those perfect pastel vellum pieces, and I'm going to cut some clouds. Now, I wasn't sure exactly how many clouds I wanted, so I went ahead and cut 3. If I decide not to use them, I can put them or save them for another card. Now, these pieces of vellum measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, so they're perfect for a slimline. I've cut some grass as well out of some of the green vellum, and then we're going to pull out our base or our panel. Our panel is going to measure 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And to get that off of a regular piece of cardstock, you just cut it down 4 inches, and then you cut another 1/2 inch off of there, and you'll use the other piece for the base. Now, I've gone ahead and die cut all of my rainbow pieces. You could very easily cut these out of whatever color cardstock that you wanted, but I wanted to color them today, and I've decided we are going to be making this look like a red, white, and blue. Obviously not a rainbow. I just wanted rays. And I wanted them to be red, white, and blue for a couple of reasons. One, for, here in America, as summer approaches, summer's starting to be here, I always think of, red, white, and blue because we're getting close to the 4th of July. But also, this card is going to be for my husband, and he is a soldier. And so it just made sense, red, white, and blue. And then I went ahead and die cut all of the pieces that I'm going to need from our backyard barbecue die set. I've colored a few of those pieces using some of my alcohol markers, but honestly, this is my favorite way to do die cuts like this, is to cut them out of a cardstock that is good with alcohol markers. So in this case, it's some Express It cardstock. And then I can use whatever alcohol markers I want on there, get my colors, blend out really well. But like I said, it's just as easy to cut it out of just a plain, or not plain, but whatever color cardstock that you want as well. I just find this gives me a few more options, which is part of the reason why I like to do it so much. So 9 times out of 10, this is how you'll see me do die cuts like this, so that I can color them exactly how I want them. And we'll just finish up. We also have one more piece on there that I die cut. That's the shadow from Dad, from our Simply Sentimental Dad. So that one obviously doesn't come from the backyard barbecue dies. And then we're now done coloring all of our pieces. I'm kind of trying to play around to see how I want that background to go. But since this is vellum and your adhesive is going to show through for whatever you decide to use, unless you cover that entire piece with your whatever adhesive you're going to use, I've decided to bring in the Xyron sticker maker. I'm just going to go ahead and make these vellum pieces into stickers. I'm playing around with the clouds because I wasn't sure how I wanted to put those on there. In the end, I decided to just use this one cloud. So we've put our grass through and now our cloud through, and we've turned both of those pieces into stickers, which is awesome. And I'm going to take that panel. It's just too plain. So I've got to splatter. I just have to. So I've brought in my Trinity Gold palette. We're going to splatter some gold all over that background. Some of that will get covered, but some of it will stand out, and I love that. I've peeled off the top of our sticker paper, and then I did peel off the cloud because I was thinking I was going to put that down first, and then I thought, no, I want the rainbow, or the rays at least, to come from behind the clouds. So I will put my grass down first because I wanted that to be the very first thing to put down. And look at how pretty that is. It's nice and shimmery. You can't really tell in the video right now, but it is definitely very shimmery, and I love that. Okay, for the next part, we're going to start putting those rainbow die pieces down. And I'm going to use some Crafty Glue Friend to do that. Very easy to do this. I like to just line it up with the bottom in this case. I've done it other ways as well, if you just want part of that on there. If you put all that together just even on your glass mat or whatever mat you're using, and then you use like a piece of mint tape or Post-it tape or something like that to hold it all together. You can very easily glue it all down at the same time. But I just decided to grab each piece individually this time because it was just as simple. And then I can glue those down. As you see, we're going to have some of that hanging off the top. That's not a big deal. We'll trim that down later. But it's starting to come together. And it's making me feel a little bit patriotic. Or at least here in America, right? Okay, so we're going to flip that over, trim off that excess with some scissors. And then now I'll grab in the cloud and we can put that down on top. And I love how that looks. Looks like that's just peeking out from behind the cloud. Next, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I did cut out from that glossy black cardstock. I used our Slimline scalloped die. And you'll notice that I'm taking that sentiment and I'm kind of just curving it to go along with the curve of this die. And I also moved it pretty much all the way to the left. And there's a reason for that. And I'll show you how simple it is to use almost any sentiment that you can on a banner die like this. And then you can trim it down very simply. So I'll stamp that out. I did use an anti-static powder tool. I'll cover that with some detail white embossing powder, and then we're going to heat set that till that is smooth and melted. And once that's done, we can clear away any of that anti-static powder that might have been left behind. And then we'll pull out our die again. And all I'm going to do is shift this die. And once I get it to where I think I want that to cut, we'll run that through our die cutting machine, and no one's the wiser, right? You'd think that's what the die size was supposed to be. And then we can take our little tails, and they'll fit perfectly on the side as well. I did die cut out the word dad from our Simply Sentimental Dad set. And I'm going to attach that down using some Crafty Glue Friend and some reverse tweezers. That was cut out of our glossy black cardstock. That stuff is really cool. It works great with foiling. And it's also just the glossiness of it is, I don't know, I just love it. I'm bringing in some adhesive foam strips. You know, I use these I use them a lot. So we're going to take that and put that right on the edge of those banner pieces. And then we'll put it on the back of our sentiment banner piece. We're going to need a little bit more of that. So we'll peel some more of that off. Trim that down, peel off that release paper, and then we can stick down our sentiment part of the banner to the little tails. Just make sure everything is lined up nicely. And once it is, then we can attach that down to the front of our card. And that'll give it a little bit of dimension there, which is great. And then we'll use our Crafty Glue Friend to attach down the word dad. So it says, I couldn't wish for a better dad. All right, now we can start piecing everything together for our grill. And so I'm just going to use Crafty Glue Friend for that as well. I don't know what you call that little piece of the grill. I guess it's the vent maybe. And I did cut the grill itself out of some of that glossy black cardstock just because I love that stuff. It's so pretty. It's glossy, so it works well, especially for something like a grill. And then I'll piece that all together. Then we'll pull out our flames, and then we can glue this top piece onto the bottom piece. It's starting to look like something now. And then we have our little stake pieces. That is 3 pieces. And I don't know if I colored those exactly the way they should look for a stake, depending on, I guess, what you want your steak to look like. Mine are raw steaks, and then I'll just piece those on there very nicely and easily with that Crafty Glue Friend. And I have 2 steaks to do, so I did both of those. We also did our handle. We're going to start gluing down the pieces to the front of our card panel. So I'll put down the flame first, and then I'm going to put both the bottom and the top part of the grill down using some foam adhesive. But we're going to attach the top handle to the top of the grill using some more Crafty Glue Friend. And we did go ahead and attach I I don't know what you'd call that, like the meat skewer, the barbecue skewer together. And now we're bringing in that foam tape. It's summertime. I'm ready for some grilling. I'm telling you. Although here in Georgia, it's getting pretty hot already. All right, so we'll peel off that release paper. We've put down the bottom part of our grill. Yes, that hangs off. We can trim that down. Now we've got our upper part of our grill attached. We're going to bring in my guillotine trimmer to trim off the excess from the grill, just because I didn't trust myself to completely cut a straight line on that. And that worked out just fine. So now we've got our base. Now this base measures 7 inches by 8.5 inches, and we're scoring it at 3.5 inches. So while it's closed, it will be 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. That's the size that I typically make my slimline. And now we have to do the inside, right? So I've decided what sentiment I want, but before I put the sentiment down, I'm going to take the steam or the smoke or whatever you want to call it. I left that in the die cut, in the negative, and I'm going to use my glue on the back of that because I want to keep all those pieces exactly where they're supposed to be. And this to me was the easiest way to do it. So we'll glue that down, and then we'll take our pickup stick and very carefully just make sure that we push all those pieces down, and then we can lift away the negative, and everything is where it's supposed to be. So now I can stamp out our sentiment that says "You're the best," and then we'll take our little stakes and we'll glue those down, and our little stake skewer as well. And then we have the inside of our card all ready to go. Now you knew I couldn't stop there. Once I attach the panel to the base, I'm going to have to bring in some embellishments. So I've decided to bring in our gold star embellishments. I love these embellishments. Now when I originally got them, I got them for graduation cards just because I thought, oh, stars, that's perfect. But I feel like stars are good for all kinds of things. I love the way they look on the outside of this card. So I was pretty liberal with those. In the end, I think I even added a couple more after the camera stopped filming. But we're going to glue that down using the pickup stick and our crafty glue friend, and everything looks so good. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. I love it. I can't wait to give it to my husband. If you like this card, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.